Hello, hello, you beautiful, magnanimous souls. Just talking out during the sunset. Really not much of a sunset for view purposes, but energetically, always a heightened opportunity to align and clear and cleanse. Always a blessed moment to be able to exchange energy. I was just talking about what is it going to take to unite as a human race? All the different things, all the different ways, because uniting as a human race will be the result of something else. You see, we have a tendency to want to focus on what are the things that we can change about ourselves so that we can start to see the value in uniting as a human race. But that's not quite right either. Mentioning before that many things that we oftentimes think about are external things that we need to change, and it's all about internal change. Internal change, true internal change, epiphanic internal change brings change externally. And so we need not seek further than ourself. And I was talking about the analogy of our body being representative as a piece of real estate. The analogy of our body being compared as real estate. And when you invest time in yourself, it's like rehabbing your home and increasing the value in your property. That's no different than your body, than your mind, body, soul, spirit complex, your whole physical and mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, right? The whole nutshell. And so anything and everything that wants to be spoken through my lips is going to promote self-reflection, because self-reflection will then be an opportunity to see more of ourselves, to spend more time with ourselves, to invest more energy into ourselves, so that we can then see the value in sharing that energy with others and connecting with others and ultimately uniting. So we unite within to unite external. So what are we uniting within us then? That's the question. And everyone's experience is different and unique to them. As to what you need uniting within yourself. And that, most commonly, most often times references your masculine and feminine energy. Knowing that we all possess both energies equally. We may not be familiar with them and what they look like, and how that masculine and feminine energy is expressed through your personality. So, most often it's balancing both of those out within us. Uniting that, your masculine and feminine energy, the unity within. Bring two into the one. And the more you create that balance and harmony within yourself, you have to spend time with yourself to really know yourself. And then through the process, hopefully you'll begin to start liking yourself just a little bit more, right? Like those people that always have to have people around them, they haven't had an opportunity to befriend themselves and not be dependent upon anything outside of you to go ahead and feel like you're in the company of something magnificent and or great. I don't know, whoever else you might be hanging out with, you might think they're not think they're magnificent, but like it turns out that you're really extraordinarily magnificent in such a great way that once you really get to know yourself on the level that you've never seen before, you really start to like your own time, your you time, a lot. So it's to really recognize that investing time in yourself is the most valuable gift you could give to yourself. Any amount of self-reflection is helping you in some way, unconsciously, consciously. And the topics that typically want to be spoken through me are topics directly related to uniting. The ultimate goal is to unite as a human race. What is it going to take? It's going to take a lot of work, but part of it is through judgment, like, the absence of judgment, removing all forms of judgment. That's going to take some time because judgment is such a layered energy. Everything is layered, but it takes time to really sort through where we're judging ourselves and how that's reflected out and how we're judging other things, people, places, or things, right? Situations, whatever. It's releasing that judgment, but seeing the reason why we need to release the judgment. Like, the judgment is automatically released in the end result once we see that we no longer have a belief system that supports that kind of judgment. Reevaluating the belief systems in a whole new way in ourselves. Like, why do we feel that way? Why do we think that way? What kind of belief system have we created based on some sort of trauma? Probably. Once you heal that trauma, you can then release the belief system and then create a new, and or leave it absent. To be able to see the truth in limitless belief systems. You're not partial to any one or the other. You see the need to see both sides of the spectrum in all scenarios and cases where is your belief system that supports that. Turn the heat on. Is it still recording? Yep. I have no idea if it's connected. I don't think it is. I turned it off. Yeah. So, if you were to make out in the clouds what you see, what would it be? Right now, the clouds. Like, the way I see it. Well, I could share the way I see it. When I see, like, there is a pyramid, the shape, the 3 dots, But it was almost like there were clear connections between the three. You know, it's like the mind, body, spirit complex there. And oh, and then the dot, there was a single dot there before, right? Kind of like an eye, right? See the connection. Catching a little bit of color over there. So, having an opportunity to allow myself to speak about things that are going to uplift our hearts, uplift our minds, uplift our spirits. It is an honor to connect with you in such an energetic space of which I have the opportunity to share things with you that will help benefit you in some way, shape, or form. And if you're listening with objective ears to judge, cast judgment, just know it's a reflection of yourself in some way, shape, or form that you're judging yourself. And to release yourself from any belief systems that are attached to supporting you to want to judge yourself in any way, shape, or form. And look at the result of that. Wow. I just looked up and the clouds cleared away just enough to create a beautiful red reflection bouncing off the clouds. Can you see that? I'm not going to zoom in on that. Let me see. No. Garbage can. I'm talking about that. Move the garbage can. That's beautiful. Oh, that's right. If I have the camera sideways, I think it doesn't look right in the actual screen. I think, if I remember correctly, that's how it goes. What the heck? I don't know what this is going to look like when it's all said and done. Oh, jeez. I'm not tightening the right thing. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Oh, look. In the meantime, like, oh my gosh, look at how beautiful that is. Come on! Come on. I'm just gonna... No, I can't get it. Alright, hang on. Silly, silly, silly. It's gotta be like this. Yeah. Well, shouldn't be that complicated. I mean, this is just gorgeous going down right there and then like messing and fiddling with this. Wow. 1313. Wow. Just amazing. If I can get that unlocked, I don't know why I keep thinking I'm turning it the wrong way. I'm going to turn it. Tighten it. It's like not tightening, so I'm not doing it right. No, I undid it all the way, and then, okay, hang on. Oh, jeez. I would have, like, been watching it. It would have been different. I'll just hold it. There's something about holding it. I know the hand's in the way, but to release it all. Allow yourself to connect and release all the things that are burdening you. Anything that might be burdening you. Frustrating you, weighing you down, stressing you. Just claim your right to exercise your free will and say, I let go of all that burdens me. Let go of it all. Allow that mental space to be clear. See that? Let me see if we can get that in there. So it's important to see how you're worth it, how you're worth that investment, to really exercise your right to use the power of your free will. Your will itself holds significant value when you start seeing and paying attention to the impact, the energetic impact it has when you exercise it in an emotionally stable place. And not based on fear, but love. You let it all go with love. If you have any angst or negative attachments, it's not going to get, you're not going to be able to let it go easily. Okay, so now, hang on. I had this before, I've done this before, I think I did. But I don't know if I can do it again right now. I'm like, no, it's this way, right? It's the only way. Look at that, isn't that amazing? Hopefully it'll stay there. Okay, hopefully it'll stay there. It might shift a little bit. Ugh, it can. But anyway, I mean, I guess it looks rustic and could bring some balance to the picture, but nonetheless. Wow. Recognizing that we are valuable in a monumental, like, majorly impactful way. And we have the ability to self-reflect on the things that really increase the value of our property, of our real estate, back to that analogy, right? What is it that has major return on investment? And that is investing in you in a way that grows you in all three aspects, the mind, body, spirit complex, all three. And building a better relationship with yourself through that process. That has a significant reward on the value of your real estate. You then can be worth gazillions. Like, nobody can buy you. Like, you are off the list. You are not listed. Yeah. But everybody has that equal value, and that was what was spoken of before, is understanding how we do ultimately hold equal value no matter what decisions we're making. And if you're making decisions that you're not proud of because you don't want people to judge you, well, that's part of this earthly experience is that people are making decisions based off fear and trying to hide because they don't want to be judged negatively. But the decisions they make ultimately does not define them. And that was a major understanding. That the actions you take do not define who you are. We oftentimes become so attached to the story of our lives, and the story of our lives is built upon different decisions we have made, but that still does not define who we are. It defines who we were. And if you made really, really bad decisions that you don't want to be judged for, then it's going to provide a huge opportunity to understand that that does not define you, and that you have a choice to create a whole new you based off that hardship, based off that challenge. We're all here learning soul growth lessons. Each and every one of us are making stupid decisions based off fear, and I keep repeating that, but I usually say it in a very comical way because, yeah, it's fun. It's really fun because it brings equality to us all when we all know that we're making decisions based off fear every day, whether it's the most minor, most minutest little thing and or to the grandest thing and everything in between. There is some usual typical reference and or backing of supporting energy that is vibrating within the fear resonance. And the more that we can identify that within ourselves and really see that we are so much more beyond anything we thought we could have imagined ourselves to be, that is automatically revealed the more you invest time in yourself. The more you self-reflect and discover parts of you that you never thought existed. And that's like the journey within is very exciting because you're discovering aspects of you never even knew you had. Like the diversity of all that consists of you, there's like a never-ending, lifelong journey of discovering all that you are. That is really explorational. That's really Dora the Explorer, let's go. You know? It's fun. And then the map, right? You got your backpack. Okay, we're using Dora as an example. What is all in your backpack? How are you prepared for the travels of journeying within? What are all the things and tools that you're going to need in your backpack to assist you while you go within? Well, you're definitely going to need a lot of tissue and band-aids and swabs and whatever, because you're going to be crying a lot. You're going to be purging a lot. You might get bruised and battered, so you need some band-aids. You know, I mean, the journey within can be brutal, and that's why usually people don't do it. They're like, nah, I'm not going to do it. It's too ugly in there. It's too painful in there. I don't want to go within. It's too scary. It's a lot of cobwebs. I've never been in there. No, it can be very challenging for you to interpret how your emotions are directly related to the traumas that you experienced in your life. A lot, like, so any hardship that you might have shed a lot of tears to, any hardship you might have shed a lot of tears to, you might still be carrying some of the burdens of that trauma within you somewhere. Your emotional body very likely has stored that energy instead of healing it. And that's, those are things that we're going to find within us. So the journey within is really being brutally honest with ourselves for the things that we have been too scared to look at before. And that takes a lot of courage. I mean, this is no, like fly-by-night investment. I mean, you yourself should not be treated as a fly-by-night investment. Once you do commit to yourself, and you really do commit to yourself in a way, again, that's going to increase your real estate because it is a trifecta of the mind, body, spirit complex that is being completely, highly impacted, benefically, magnificently. Yes, that's the kind of self-reflection that's going to increase your real estate, your value, because your whole reality changes. Your whole world changes. You change the inner part of you, everything outside of you changes. Your connection within you is stronger. Your connection with everything outside of you is stronger. And so, again, how are we going to unite as a human race? Is we have to unite within. It starts with us, each and every one of us. And it ends with us. We have a responsibility to ourselves like we have never paid attention to before. Our responsibility to ourselves is to never stop loving the crap out of ourselves. That's for sure. Like, we really need to get better at that. Because we're constantly self-destruction mode all the time. Constantly self-destruction mode. Worrying about this, worrying about that. Like, again, the better relationship you build with yourself, the better relationship you're going to build with everything else outside of yourself, and less worries will be upon you. You will not be worrisome. You won't be as worrisome. So it all plays a role. It changes everything when you really commit to yourself. And to have somebody that has gone before you to face their own demons, to face their own inner insecurities, to face their own ego, to face their own, went through the dark night of the soul numerous times, like uncountable times, right? Like, you visit frequently, like, hey, 20 minutes here, you're visiting, and, close the door and you open up a brand new portal of light and love to be able to fill its place, of which the things you release, you just go into the dark night of your soul. You're facing a lot of things that you never faced before, and you're able to release a lot. There's so much energetic baggage that we're carrying in our emotional body because we're so scared to face it. We don't want to feel that pain again. But the good news is, the really, really, really good news is, yes, you have to feel it to heal it. Yes, okay. That is part of it. But you'll feel like $1,000,000 once you truly are able to release it on whatever major monumental level that you can release it. Because typically when you release something really, really heavy or burdensome, you're going to release a big chunk of it, but there's still going to be plenty of remains there for you to pick up the crumbles, like the little leftovers. Like, there's so much to learn throughout a major traumatic experience in your life. I mean, you can revisit that trauma like 1,000 times over and learn new lessons from it. New lessons just from that one major trauma. And each lesson, you're able to release the heavy, dense, energetic weight that it once carried upon you. You're no longer attached to it because you now learned the lesson. And so we need to understand the lesson can come in many different forms, in many different layers, in many different, areas and categories and whatever it may be, but it's a soul growth lesson that we're after. What did the soul choose to experience that hardship for? Why did the soul, like, your soul can handle the trauma. If it couldn't, you wouldn't have gone through it. So what's the major soul growth lesson from that? And we're covering up these golden nuggets of trauma that are laying dormant within ourselves because we're too scared to face it. But what we don't understand is once we face it, we learn the lesson, we grow immensely. And we feel 1,000,000 times better. We owe it to ourselves. We're shortchanging ourselves. for fearing ourselves. We can't look at ourselves in the mirror for whatever reason. Now, again, I'm talking not everybody, right? Somebody's like, hey, I look in the mirror and I smile because I can't help smiling when I see myself. I'm just like, hey, I love you. Look in the mirror like, hey, I love you. And you're just smiling away. Like, some people do that. And some people don't. I'm just those that I was speaking to that aren't able to look at themselves in the mirror, right? For whatever reason, they're judging themselves. And that is affecting their view of seeing all that they're worth and all that their value that it exists. And we're always projecting outwardly how we feel inwardly, and that is a big part of our understanding of, being able to unite as a human race as well. We're no longer judging one another for our projections. You're projecting outwardly how you feel inwardly, and if it is in a negative way, if you are trying to take down somebody and their character, trying to take down somebody and their, mental, emotional, physical, financial, whatever angle you want to use to try to put someone down, talk about them negatively in any way, that is a mere reflection of yourself. Because you have a bad relationship with yourself. And having a bad relationship with yourself is projected outwardly upon others. You would respect everyone just the way that they are, without judgment, absent judgment. There's no need to speak ill upon another person's soul growth lessons. The decisions they are making in life, but they are soul growth lessons, and they are consciously aware that they are making decisions to help them and for the betterment of self and betterment of all. If they are making 100% their decision based on that, aren't we like gifting ourselves in a major way when we do that? Right? We got to take complete accountability for ourselves in a brand new way. Not being like, oh, it's such a burden to take accountability for ourselves. No, it can be fun. It really can be fun discovering more of you. But it can be scary. And to have somebody that has gone through it, like myself, because I'm like, man, yeah, I could definitely help in that area. I like all these areas that I'm talking about, right? All the areas. And there's like unlimited areas. So it's like I've invested so much time in my real estate to be able to bring value to helping people through their challenges, through their struggles, through their, hiccups, through anything, man. Anything. Doesn't matter what area of life, doesn't matter what sector, everything is encompassing of the levels of insight I've gained through the hardships I experienced and the, amount of time I've invested in becoming better and better and better and better versions of myself over and over and over and over again. Constantly reconstructing a perspective that is in complete alignment of allowing everyone to feel the love that I vibrate at. To be that diverse in the complexity of which that my frequency emanates at, it helps everyone. And the only way I could have been able to accomplish that is by investing time and energy in myself by doing so. And now I'm positioned and poised as a leader in the field of being able to guide others based on my own personal experiences. Guide others in a monumental way. This isn't just, I mean, the reason why it's a big way is because each and every person has so much value. Each soul that is listening has significant value. This is why it's a monumental way, because everyone has so much value, and the things that want to be spoken through my lips are going to be able to help you see how much value you have that you haven't seen before, And if you do really understand that you're worth a way above and beyond $1 gazillion in real estate, like, if you really, really know that in your heart, well, then great, you're set. And then you can help others with your light as well. And help them increase their real estate. Because if you're able to mirror back to others the beauty in their own real estate, then that's a gift. And a lot of times people don't see the beauty in their own real estate right away. They're going to see all the things that needs to be rehabbed, and they're like, they don't like this, your reflection of what's appearing before them. They see them in you, and they see areas of which that they may be lacking, and they're judging themselves, right? So they don't like you because what you're reflecting is things they don't like about themselves, and so they want to judge you or put you down so they can feel better, right? Again, it's just, all of life is really just teaching us lessons on how to see our own value, how we can love ourselves more, learn more about ourselves, build a better relationship with ourselves, and learn to, accept everything just the way it is. Everything is perfectly in order, even though it's in chaos. And it's hard to see that when you're not able to see the balance within your, if you're not balanced within yourself, it's more difficult to see it. That's just basically it. So, yeah, I wanted to catch that light, but no, it's not focusing. So, okay. Anywho, I'm gonna have to end this real quick. But, yeah. I just paused and had to go catch some fresh air, right? Catch some fresh air. Like, wow. All the things that really want to be spoken about, how it's important to invest in ourselves, is just so exhilaratingly fun for me, because never did I ever think that there was going to be a moment in time in my life where I'm going to be discussing things that are so monumental to human potential and our evolutionary growth and seeking our human potentiality. Investing time in ourselves is really investing in seeing all the things that we didn't know we could do before, but it was always there. We just never placed our focus on it. The things that we can't see, things we haven't seen. The beauty within you exists in an ever-present reality, in unlimited layers of how beautiful you are reflecting yourself into this earthly experience. Your light, your shine, your glow is unique to you. It's your fingerprint, per se, energetically. And you investing in time and shining that light as bright as it possibly can is a major worthwhile investment, because it contributes to increasing the value of the trifecta, mind, body, spirit. You are worth the investment. In that, and especially focus on that area, you are really going to see and surprise yourself. I mean, this is what makes the journey fun, it's a never-ending journey of surprises. You're going to surprise yourself so many times. And it gets exciting. I'm like, dang, I had no idea I was that diverse. like when you really see how you're the whole entire universe expressing itself. Like, there's a never-ending journey to seeing that in a multitude of different ways. And that's what makes it fun, because the more you see how grand you are, because you're a piece of the grand, of the whole, and unite within, you again can more clearly see how you're connected to everything else, everyone and everything. And that is part of the journey of which it'll assist us in respecting one another in monumental ways. Release the judgment. Of ourselves. And we are able to release the judgment of others. People, places, things, right? We learn to love everyone just with they are. How they choose to be does not have to affect you in a way that subtracts from your energy field. You do not have to allow yourself or your energy field to be altered by somebody else's actions or decisions, even if they're directly aiming their target at you. That's the biggest opportunistic moment to see how you might be skillful and masterful in an area you never discovered before, based on experiences that you're going through. If they're hard and they're challenging, it's very likely you have unique gifts in that area, because your soul is prepared to go through a hardship or challenge just so that it could catch your attention, to be able to focus on it in a way that discover a part of you that you've never seen before. You might have a very specific gift, like a spiritual gift, or an energetic gift, I mean, it's what we can't see with our two eyes kind of gift. But to be able to alchemize energy in a way that you never thought you could before, because you're able to handle the contrast, and the hardship, it acts like a contrast, right? It's that contrast. And I've talked about this before. And another sunset channeling message wants to be spoken of again. That contrast is what can help you, see more of the gift of alchemization that you might be able to easily perform naturally, organically. If it's a gift, then you don't even have to work hard at it. You just do it. And seeing what it takes to be able to alchemize it, seeing what it takes. It's a lesson that you learn within you to be able to reveal that gift. There's some lesson that you're meant to capitalize on to reveal more of your gifts. And our lessons come hard. They don't come easy. Again, the human is thick-skulled. I've said this a million times. We require most oftentimes a lot of pain in order to learn major soul growth lessons. But once we remove the judgment of ourselves and others, we'll then be able to accept everybody else's soul growth lessons in a more monumental way, a more significant way, a more respectful and appreciative, compassion, kind, understanding, loving way. All the different things that's going to allow us to be able to support one another. Now, again, I am positioned and now poised to be able to help others in a monumental way that I never knew I was going to have the capacity to do one day. I mean, and the glory all goes to God. It's glory to God in that whole thing. Allowing my vessel to be completely clear of debris so I can shine the light of God through my vessel. And I can say the Holy Spirit. I can say, the purest form of crystalline light that exists in the Christ conscious realm. Like, I can word it in a million different ways, but it's a whole lot of love in me that wants to shine bright, and I'm allowing it because I deserve it. I owed it to myself. And then now I can be of service to others in a way that I never thought I could before. Because I did all that work on myself. Now I can help others that might be interested in working on themselves. In a way that's going to change their life. Like, this is a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, you, the listener, is a big deal. And my discovery of how big of a deal I am is allowing to me to see clearly how big of a deal everybody else is. As within, so without. How I see myself, my relationship with self is clearly reflected outwardly. And how I honor other people, respect other people, no matter how they're acting. No matter what decisions they're making. Because I understand that the decisions does not define who they are. They're just making decisions that are influenced through fear. All of us are doing it. And having compassion, kindness, understanding for those that are making those decisions in a disempowered way because they just don't know what they don't know. Not willing to face themselves. It's all an understanding. So it's difficult to have so much respect for those that are doing disrespectful things. It's difficult, right? I mean, the way that I speak, it sounds like it's easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Nope. It's not, actually, at all. It can happen in a flash. The shift in perspective to be able to allow yourself to see how that's possible. It can happen in a flash. And if you're able to see that, then that's, your pathway there. But if you're not able to see that clearly, and you're not able to make the connection, then there's a lot more digging within you that has to be dug. Building a better relationship with you, knowing you for all that you are. All your good, all your bad, everything. You love it all. And you've got it balanced. And there's certain steps. There's a amount of invested time that it takes that's required for you to work on specifically just the balance. And you just take any challenge or hardship or complication in your life, past, present, future, and that's your hot ticket to finding what it is that needs to be balanced within that experience. We're here again. This wants to come through again. And we're here experiencing polarities. People that are acting evil, people that are acting good. Or, doing... And this is what really... Okay, so I just mentioned that, and then it brought me to that thought, which I want to bring that up. Again, judging others for making stupid decisions based on fear. And if they made unlawful decisions, they're going to be judged for those unlawful decisions. However, how the collective sees them doesn't have to energetically shift. As a collective whole, we don't have to view the person that has done unlawful things as a bad person. We have the ability to completely release that judgment upon them. We have that ability, capacity, 100%. But it must happen inside of us. We must see ourselves within them in order to release judgment on them. Because everybody's just another reflection of you. Everyone's just another version of you. What if that is something you could possibly see for yourself when you are choosing to build a better relationship with you? Is it possible you might see how everybody else is just another version of you? Yeah, because you're connected to everybody else. And so once you connect more within yourself, you're going to be able to connect with more with other people. You're going to be able to see how other people are just clearly another version of you, making dumb decisions in one shape or way or form. And I say dumb, that's a judgment, right? And stupid, because stupid doesn't. And the reason why dumb and stupid wants to come through is because anything related with fear is part of the illusion. Now, you speak illusions, okay, then people get lost. with what that means, how to interpret it, digest it. Well, it's part of which is keeping you trapped in your mind. And everything is mind in this whole earthly experience. And so when you see the enslavement of mind, you're able to clearly find the way out. And that is by releasing fear and bringing more love in. That is why it's important to invest time in you. Because anytime you're triggered by something outside of you, it's a way to see more of you and what's not balanced in you. And that's your answer. It begins the journey. It can begin the journey if that's something that you're interested in. You'll know. Like people will know if whether or not, like, eventually, like, they invest time in themselves, and they're going to be able to see whether or not that they clearly, and we're not talking just like their ego saying, no, I give up on this, because your ego will fight you on investing time in yourself. Your ego is going to fight you all the way through it. But those, they're going to know, like those that just know what their soul path is. If their soul chose to awaken to all that they are in this life, you're going to discover it. Like, and it's usually through a pain or trauma. You don't just discover it because, hey, you're consciously saying, hey, I want to discover this. No, usually it's going to take some sort of trauma in your life to invest that time in yourself. That's just how it works. I totally, for the most part, understand that a lot of people can relate to that. Not everybody's journey is that way. But again, because we're all unique. Everybody's making different decisions on the whole spectrum of possible limitless decisions that could be made. And nobody else is better than anybody else for the ones they choose to act upon, because we all have equal value. Now, if they're hurting other people, taking away from other people, then this is where other people are like, well, where's the justice then in that, right? No. As we transition more and more into understanding that we're just another version of ourselves that exists, to be able to see that clearly and like really treat another as brother and sister. Like, everybody walking around is just brother and sister to you. They're just another version of you. Like, once you really, really see that, like, you're like, it doesn't matter what color, what shape, or size, or age, or nothing. Nothing you see with your two eyes is what brings you together with that other sentient human life. To see the reflection of you in them. So until we transition into that area, the judicial system, and relying on other structures that were human-made, man-made, based on a certain level of consciousness, we're going to have an opportunity here to be able to revamp that based on how we're going to shift as we connect with more and more with one another. As we connect more and more with ourselves, we're going to be able to connect more and more with another. Don't focus on connecting with another before you focus on connecting with yourself, because otherwise then it's going to be superficial. It's not going to be long-lasting. It's not going to be real. It's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be the end result. Like, the end result is not what we focus on. And that's exactly what brings me back to the very beginning of the recording. My stomach confirmation. It is all about focusing on ourselves to create the organic response of what that looks like is being able to connect with everything else. You focus on yourself to establish that harmonic, balanced connection within you. And there's so many different ways to say this, right? There's so many different ways to word this. It's just how it's coming through now. You find that inner balanced connection with yourself. Yin yang, masculine, feminine, higher, lower, heart, head, everything. Finding the balance within that. What does that really look like? What are the steps and the processes you go through and maneuver that to bring that balance, to bring that synergistic connection? And that's important, but in the same token, really understanding what it means to respond to yourself in such a respectful way. You are really respecting yourself when you start investing time in yourself. In those ways, those specific key areas, because releasing judgment of yourself as you start to see more clearly of yourself and then how you might be judging others. Or you can use the mirrored outer picture as a guide to what it is that you may want to direct within yourself, and that can easily be done in the beginning of the stages of being able to recognize what it is that is being hidden from you, and it'll continue to be a navigation tool for what is hidden within you, what is appearing outside of you. Again, our emotions are our antennas, and it's always beneficial to see your emotions as an antenna, to be able to learn more about yourself, to see that as a navigational tool, to reveal more of what is unseen about you, and not to get swept up in the emotion, but to be able to recognize how important it is to express that emotion, to be able to learn something valuable about you. So to not judge why you're having the emotion. If you get pissed off or triggered or really, really sad, any emotion that's outside the, state of allowance, frequency, love, frequency, again, to create that balance, we need to allow our emotions to show and rise, but not to get caught up in them. That's the key. And the only way to do that is to really understand that the emotion itself is in our antenna system operating in its perfect order. No emotion is ever experienced without first having a thought. And so we start paying attention more to our thoughts, because our emotions are an antenna to what thoughts we were having. And it might be based on a belief system that is outdated or based on fear. And that's why we're responding in a fearful way, either angered or sad or upset or bothered or triggered. Our emotions are our antennas. So to learn to love yourself and accept yourself for any emotion that comes up. Don't hate yourself for getting angered all the time. That doesn't do you any good. No. If you're angered all the time, well, there's plenty of opportunity to look at yourself as to why you might be getting angered all the time. People that have a tendency to get angered all the time might not have, a balanced platform where they're going to be able to not look at themselves in a judgmental or critical way. Because anger it usually has a lot to do with criticism in some way, either inner or outer. Again, it's all an inner reflection. So we transition into that, and we'll need less of responsibility to weigh on the judicial system in a way that we do now. And it'll be a natural, organic process of how we shift into needing, that type of energetic balance through what has been created to help us. And we're constantly evolving, so to have things stay the same when it comes to holding people accountable for their actions, it's just silliness. It's nonsense. As we evolve as a human race, holding one another accountable should evolve as well in how we see them. The rehabilitation process will completely be revamped and modified to, or plenty of additions. I mean, there's, again, to bring up specific, no, it's just there's shifts and changes within that as we change within ourselves, outside of ourselves is going to change with it. So there's a lot of what wanted to be spoken. 10011. So I saw the 111 3 times today. Goodness, I did not know that. I was anticipating, but in closing, it's always an honor and a pleasure to exchange that energy. Whatever you choose to do in your life, just remember that does not define who you are. If you're holding deep regret for some actions you've done, forgive yourself. You owe it to yourself to do so. And then start making the right decision for you. Again, it's not about right or wrong, but whatever you're not going to feel guilty about anymore. Because if you feel guilty about it, then there's something that wants to change within you. That's your opportunity to start taking action on that. Because you know that your decisions don't define you. And if you're not experiencing something that's pleasant, what do you have control of? And that is complete control over yourself. Nobody has control over you. Nothing has control over you unless you allow it. So, I don't know who needed to hear that, but that wanted to come through. And love yourself for more and more. Just love yourself a little bit more, and just a little bit more, and just a little bit more. Maybe you can wake up in the morning and just stop for a second when you look in the mirror and just smile at yourself. Yeah, you may laugh. Because I don't know how many people really smile at themselves in the mirror. It might be funny. It might be a silly process. But to really look at yourself with respect and honor, with a smile, appreciation. You're still living, you're still breathing, you're still kicking. You still have the ability to see yourself in the mirror. You can still see your own reflection. Give yourself a smile. You owe it to yourself. You really do. A genuine smile. Try to make it as genuine as possible, no matter what emotion you might be feeling. That'll be fun. I'll do that tomorrow myself. It's not like I don't do it often. I already do it, smile myself. It's good stuff, man. To really see how smiling changes everything. Smiling is the end result to a major inner change. When you smile more often, again, some people say just smile and the emotion follows, right? That's why they say fake it till you make it when it comes to... So there's a history about the smile. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. It's just about you being able to find that genuine smile within you to look in the mirror with. And that can be a beginning step to you investing time in you in a different way and seeing you in a different way. That might be one option to try. To look at, because for me, your eyes are the gateway to your soul. So the more that you do your mirror work, look at yourself in the mirror, in your eyes, to see the light of your soul, the beauty that you are, through the gateways of your eyes, right? Your eyes can be that gateway. It's another way to connect more with your soul aspect itself, is to see beyond the veil of what you think you see in the mirror. And if you're somebody who deliberately, intentionally already sold their soul and they don't know where it is, I totally understand. There's no worries. Don't fear trying to smile at yourself in the mirror. And then, if it's absent your soul, you might get irritated at the whole thing. I'm just kidding. I don't know why, but again, there's something about those people that have deliberately, intentionally sold their soul. It's like, why would you do that? Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people that have done that, and intentionally, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna sell it right now. So I'm going to make this agreement in blood. I'm like, what? Why would people do that? Man, like your soul is nothing to like neglect. Like I'm just going to, for the betterment of all, this is what I'm going to do. Like, oh gosh, what hard lessons you will learn when you totally negate your soul, right? Like that. Oh man. Anyway, I love you. I love each and every one of you. And I wish you the most beautiful moments to come as you begin to invest more and more time in yourself. I love you. Namaste.